Hi, welcome to the YouTube channel for DiscoverYourLifeToday.com. This is Maveen Kaura. What I'm going to be doing today is reviewing the book called Freedom Tide. This book is by Chad Connolly. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy to show you guys what it looks like, but I did give it away so someone else can enjoy the principles that are in this book. What I'm going to do is actually review all the different chapters in this book. There are a total of 8 chapters that I will be going over. You can definitely go to discoveryourlifetoday.com/freedom and read a little bit more in depth about the article that I wrote. I've actually spent some time rewriting this article, so it's a little bit more in depth, a little bit more comprehensive on what is included. So, my goal here is just to kind of review the book of why this, the book Freedom Tide is very important and why we need to consider our own freedom in this society, in this world. My goal here is to also help people understand that they're in a losing system and they can attain their freedom if they understand what the system they're in is and how to get out of the system. I'm not going to go very in depth in what it is. I have, like I said, talked a little bit about that in depth in my writing at discoveryourlifetoday.com/freedom. So take a look at that. Let's get started on this book and the review of this book. I believe this book is important for anybody and everybody in this world because, everybody, I believe, is looking for some sort of freedom in their life from the system that they're in. I believe we do need to understand the principles and the foundations that our nations have been built on. A lot of nations have been built on great principles. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things going on in this world that we are not all in knowledge about, and a lot of things that are happening that, we frankly are not paying attention to. So what I'm going to be talking about is getting out of a system that is enslaving us. It might not be in the same type of shackles that we hear about 300, 400, 500 years ago with slavery in North America or all around the world, but what this is, it's a different type of slavery. It's a time slavery and a money slavery that we're being put into. And the goal here is really just to help you understand that you are in this system just like myself, but how we can actually get out of this system if we so choose to get out of it. I ask you to keep an open mind as I go through each one of the points chapter by chapter. I will discuss a little bit more of this, as we go through it. Again, chapter 1 of Freedom Tide is called Why Am I Here? Something to keep in mind. So after 9/11, after the attacks, one of the things that you would have noticed and probably still notice to this day is a lot of people across North America, Canada, US, and all parts of the world have become more patriotic than ever towards their own country and towards their own people, and have been really more unpatriotic towards people of different nationalities and cultures. Not necessarily as much in Canada, but if we look around, in certain parts of Canada and, and parts of the US and parts of the world, we'll see that other people are not being treated well because of their ethnicity. What we have also decided to do is make money, and we've decided to make money in different ways so we can live our lives the way we have decided we want to live life. So most of us do the 9 to 5, we go to school, we get a job, and we're told that's the way we have to go through life. But one of the things that we need to understand is that we don't have to just roll through life in this manner. There are other ways that we can create an income to find our freedom. At some point in our life, we must ask the big question: why am I here? And what is my purpose in this life? I believe our purpose is not to go to school, get a job, and work the 9 to 5 and work 8 to 10, 12 hours a day, and then go home, be tired, and redo the exact same thing over and over again, like in the movie Groundhog's Day. I believe that we have a bigger purpose in this life than what we are being sold and told what it is. What we need to do is dig a little deeper into our own purpose and really find how we can do the things that our heart is telling us we need to do. Our desire to make a difference can lead us to start our own business. Most people will see this, and this is what the free enterprise system is about. It's about building your own business so you can gain back the freedom of time and having enough money to do the things that you want to do. You know, working for yourself rather than working for somebody else. When you work for somebody else, you are part, when you live in North America at least, you're a part of the capitalistic system, which is built on making the big companies richer and allowing you to have just a very small part of the pie. You know, we have to know when we enter the corporate work world that our belief systems, our dreams, and our wants are being suppressed in order to, you know, appease what the boss needs done. So the corporation, like I said, in the capitalistic system, can make all the money that it needs to make to satisfy shareholders. Chapter 2. Change or Providence. A country's strength has always been its people. And the same goes for the company you work for. And the same goes for you when you have your own independent business. Okay, Chad, the author of this book, says nowadays it seems that many people don't know the history of their own country, the history that they are surrounded by, and they take less and less time to learn this history because they'd have less and less time to really focus on those things. Again, how can you focus on the past and learning about history and understanding how that is actually affecting us when you're spending 8 to 10 hours of your day at work and don't really have time for anything else? Many people assume that they have learned all they need to learn in high school or university. And unfortunately, today and in today's society, most people do not pick up a book after the age of 25 and all the way to maybe 75 or 65 or 75 or 85 or even 95. So you're telling me that most people will not pick up a book and read something and learn something new for 60, 70 years of their life. And you know, that's pretty sad in my personal opinion. But I believe that people listening to this hopefully are different. Chapter 3. What did the founders say? So the founders being the founding fathers in the United States. Again, you know, Freedom Tide is a book written by Chad Connolly, who is, an American who's writing about the American system. But I do believe what he's written is also usable for, you know, a grander scale. You know, so what he says is, if you are in power, then you get to decide, and the people must contend with a flexible, man-inspired idea of absolute power. So if we are in power, which is the government is in power, whatever the government says, most people will do because we believe that they decide and make the best decisions for us. The American Constitution believes that, you know, God gave us life and the ability to have the liberty to do and become who we want to be. So this means we don't have to be in a losing system. We can actually get out of that losing system and go out and be who we need to be. Something that Billy Graham said. Many of you may know who Billy Graham is. He was a preacher, I believe, of a Christian preacher. One thing he said was, if God does not punish America, he believed he would have to apologize to Sodom and Gomorrah. That being very biblical, I believe. I'm not 100% sure of the story, but I believe God destroyed that city because there was a lot of things that were going on that were immoral. And I guess, what Billy Graham is saying is there's a lot of crimes happening that the America is creating and doing all around the world, and if God doesn't judge America, there's going to be a problem here. Not saying that it's right or wrong, his viewpoint, but I think it's something that we need to think about, at least when we are looking at all the different things that are happening in the world on a global scale. Chapter 4. What does the First Amendment say? So James Madison stated, the civil rights of none shall be abridged because religious beliefs or worship, nor shall any national religion be established. So what the founding fathers were saying was, we must respect everybody's religion and culture, and nor shall we set up any sort of religion, even though I believe a lot of the founding principles were based on biblical teaching. The founding fathers knew that the country that was founded, which is America, had to be found on godly principles. And I think that same principle goes for a lot of different countries these days, or most countries are found on principles, and the people and the government are based on these good principles. Now, even if you're not a godly person, I believe you can believe that the morals are what we should be looking at, and not necessarily the religion side of any country's belief system. William James said, "There's nothing so absurd but to repeat it enough times where people will begin to believe it." So my example is, just turn on CNN, and every single day on CNN, you'll see the same type of news day in, day out, day in, day out. It's only one viewpoint. There's no secondary viewpoint. So they keep telling you the same thing over and over again. And if you hear the same message over and over again, eventually your subconscious mind will start believing it and then start repeating it and telling other people. And that's a great way for you to be brainwashed and then tell other people what you believe, and then you start brainwashing them as well. So that's just one example. That goes with entertainment, that goes with sports, that goes with all the different things that are happening. The more we keep listening to the same message over and over again, and without checking the facts, the more we start to believe it. The moral and societal decay is linked to people becoming indifferent and failing to investigate the facts on their own. We have become a nation of people who just want to be told what to believe and don't really want to go out there and find out the things that all the true facts of what we are beginning to believe. Chapter 5, liberal and conservative. What do they mean? To truly make a difference, we first must decide where we stand on important issues. Before we can decide where we stand, I think we need to go out there again and do the research and really understand, our position and the other person's position, so we can make an educated decision on what we actually believe. If we don't stand for something, we will fall for anything and then just do what we are told in the end. Today's liberal beliefs are more about having government interjection, the better, they believe, right? So, but as the government gets bigger, because they have more interjection and we allow it, the more we start losing our freedoms, because in order for the government to control people, it must be able to put people in a box. And if it can put people in a box, the less freedoms you have when you are in this box. Small businesses and independent business owners drive the economy of every country. And in every country, anytime we have a recession or see a recession, who is the first people to emerge? People who have a business sense, who want to get out of their economic problem. They start thinking of businesses they can open, and they start these businesses and start developing new products and ideas and find ways to attain freedom and grow the economy of their country or of their city. Chapter 6. Where are we today, or where are we now? The best business strategy is to find a need and fill it. So it's always the best idea is to reach out to the closest network you have once you've started a business idea, and tell them about your business, and because those people are most likely going to buy from you. Author Gil Bailey said, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go and do that. Because what the world needs is more people who come alive." So what this means is we need more people out there who are understanding the enslaved system that we live in, and going out there and telling people, just like what I'm trying to do out here, is about, telling people that we're in a slave system, and we need to get out of this financial system that's enslaving us. And that's the banking system, the government system, as well as the Wall Street economic system, because the more we keep pouring our energy into the system, the more energy we're actually being sucked out of to help, I don't know what it's for, maybe fund wars. It's about imperialism, it's about taking over, it's about control. So the more we keep doing what we've been doing, the more we allow the government and the armies and the nations to continue to do what they want to do. Okay, so we have to understand freedom is not free. The fight today seems largely internal in our hearts and our minds of people. We as a global society know something is wrong, but don't know where to start to fix the problem. We can see it. We see it every day. We see poor people on the streets. We see, on TV, there's children dying and famine and no rain falling in a lot of places, and people having so many life problems, but we don't even know where to start. The problem is we can't just leave what we're doing and then head over there for most of us and just try to go help. We have, unfortunately, a lot of other responsibilities that we need to take care of before we head out and try to help other people. And in this lies the problem, because we have bills that we have to pay. So this limits the amount of freedom we have of going out and doing the things we want, because those bills, mortgages, car payments, having to go to work, having to put food on the table, create problems of freedom for a lot of us. Chapter 7. What is the alternative to the free enterprise system? So Chad believed that the only alternative to the free enterprise system was communism or socialism. Again, we have to do our own research, understand what those systems are, how those systems are actually, how people live in those exact systems, and then we have to decide if that's the truth and we agree with it, or do we actually disagree with it. Karl Marx had it right, again, Chad believes, when he said the more the government intervention in the economy, the more intervention the government has in our lives. We can see that because in the banking system had failed when we had the crash in 2008. What did the government do? They went in and bailed all these companies or banks out, because again, the government intervention knew. So the more government intervention, the more we had to pay in taxes to bail out these banks that we have to pay interest to in the big picture. Everything the government gives to the people, in Freedom Tide explains that it must be first taken from the people to give to other people. It's the Robin Hood effect. So, take from the rich, give to the poor, or take from everybody and just spread that wealth all around. They do that by taxing us, and the more they tax us, the more we lose the ability to go do the things that we want to do. The less money we have in our pocket, the more harder we have to work to get more money in our pocket. But the more money we put in our pocket, the more they keep taxing us. So it's a vicious cycle that we're stuck in. The only worthwhile job security is customer security. So all business owners know, if you have a business, you have to take care of your customer. The more we take care of our customer, the more we can ensure the customer will come back and want to do business with us. And when they come do business with us, that increases the ability of us to make money and have the freedom to earn enough income to do the things that we want to do, and potentially someday even walk away from our business. You'll see that more today with the concept of drop shipping. More and more people nowadays are starting drop ship businesses or starting online businesses where they don't even have to have a brick and mortar store. What they're doing is setting up a Shopify or whatnot, and and people they're getting people to get to these websites so they can go out there and make purchases, and there's no major overhead, so they can keep everything low cost and high profitability. We need to think about the greater good of the greater amount of people. That's something that I think all as a society want to do, but again, we're just having problems understanding how we can do it. Chapter 8, why stand here idle? We as a collective society need to adopt a new kind of belief system. One that it says if it's going to be, it's up to me. We have to be able to make the decisions based on what we feel is right. But we know there's a lot of rules in place that are stopping us from doing certain things. There's a lot of logistics. There's a lot of red tape out there that's stopping us from doing what we need to do. But we need to, really adopt a system that says we can't allow these rules to stop us from doing the things that we know in our heart is right. If we become complacent, we do lose our freedoms, and we go away. I guess we become like other societies who have also lost their freedoms. Just look around the world, you'll see it. There's a lot of people who have been displaced because of war. They've lost their freedoms, and if we allow ourselves to be complacent, we will also lose our freedoms. Maybe not through war, but through the things that we can actually do within our own borders. My goal, and I think Chad's goal as well, is to inspire people to become more involved and truly appreciate the arena of the ideas that are being shared in this video, as well as the discoveryourlifetoday.com/freedom article that I had written. The idea is to really get people to start thinking and open up some minds, so we can go out and have good conversations with people and say, hey, I believe this, I know you believe this. What can we do? What can we do to get out of this system that's really not benefiting us in the big picture? We got to do what it takes to make a difference. We got to do the big thing. We sometimes have to do the exact opposite of what the crowd is doing. It's the person that does the opposite of what everybody else is doing that typically makes a difference, not the masses, right? But the idea is to get the masses behind us, but it's going to take a few good people to put the message out there and get people talking and taking action on what is wrong. Lastly, we need to realize that most people will seek the easy way in life. Unfortunately, too many people are plugged in and don't really understand what they can do to get out of this system. The ones who will make a difference are people who want to help people understand that this is not right, the system we are in, and we need to change it so we can go in and become part of a better system, a system that doesn't enslave us, so we can get out of that system, have more freedoms, because I can tell you right now, most people would rather be on a beach or doing the things that they love, going for a hike, instead of sitting at work and having to work to pay their mortgage off, $500,000-$600,000, whatever your mortgage is. And instead, they'd rather be with their families and be with their loved ones and having a good time and enjoying this life that we were born into, instead of being enslaved into this life that we were born into. I want to thank you for joining the YouTube channel for discoveryourlifetoday.com. And again, my name is Maveen. I ask you to please subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. That's okay. What I'm asking you as well is to go read that article that I mentioned as well. Leave a comment below. Let me know if there's any other topics that you would like me to cover or talk, write about, or make a video on. I'd be happy to do so. If you have any questions, again, drop me a line. Other than that, I hope you have yourself a great day.